Welcome to the May I Share podcast. Today, host Duke and Tom sit down with Mark Greaves from the Tithe Foundation, an organization helping mission-minded businesses channel a portion of what they earn to support the nonprofits making a difference in our world. If you've ever wondered how your business could become a vehicle for giving, this episode is for you. Learn how you can get involved in the show notes. Be blessed.
Hello, men of Columbus. So what are the gifts God's given you? Do you know what they are? If you didn't make it today and you got to heaven, would he give you well done, good and faithful servant? We hope he would. We're so pleased to do this podcast. I'm Duke Heller. The co-host is Tom Aakhus. And we have Mark Greaves with us. We're so excited for you to hear about his ministry. Remember, these podcasts are geared so that men can go to a YouTube and see 20 ministries or more they can become involved with. As my friend Ron Blue says, you don't retire, you rehire. You rehire yourself. So, Mark, great to have you here.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Why don't you tell us how you grew up and just some of your background and when you came to know Jesus.
Yeah, well, thank you very much. This is awesome. Being able to sit here with you two guys is fun. We're going to have a ball. But, background and how I got to know Jesus. So I guess I can start. Grew up a Missouri boy, so born and raised in St. Louis, Catholic schools through and through. So if you're from St. Louis, I went to St. John Vianney High School. That's a big question down there.
Yeah.
It's where you went to high school. It's what everybody's worried about. But big sports school. I was the oldest of 6 kids. So growing up, we had a big family and was from a very big family. So I mentioned we grew up Catholic. One of the coolest things that is in our family tree was my great-grandma and grandpa, who didn't die till I was in college. They were married very, very young in life, and they lived to be 104 and 102.
Oh, my.
And they were married almost 85 years. So when Pope John Paul II came to St. Louis in the year 2000, he went and visited my great-grandma and great-grandpa and gave him a plaque, because at the time, they were the oldest or the longest ever recorded Catholic marriage in history.
Oh, my.
Yeah, isn't that pretty cool?
That's cool, Mark.
In the whole history of the world.
Oh, my.
Yeah, and then I think somebody's got them now. Some old couple lived and they're like 87 years or something. So I think they're number 2. But that was a pretty cool thing. But yeah, big family, grew up, sports family. So yeah, we were always, believers in Jesus, but for the majority of my life, it was a school thing. I kind of grew up where I had religion as a class. I believed in Jesus in my head, which you and I have talked about, but he hadn't made his way into my heart yet and really changed my life much. But I didn't grow up distanced from the Lord. I grew up in a good family. Sports took me to Ohio State, which is where I met my wife. I played volleyball at Ohio State, so the manliest sport available to me. I know you know a lot of the football guys, but I was a non-contact guy. I needed a net to separate me from the opponent.
That's great.
But had fun playing there. Met my wife there, and she was from Cincinnati. We decided when we both graduated that we would just stick around.
Yes.
So fast forward, couple decades later, and here we are, still running and gunning. So I got into the mortgage business right after school.
Okay.
Got really good at it.
Before you get there, tell us about your kids.
Yeah, 2 kids. Yeah, 11 and 9, 2 boys. Grayson and
The reason
Franklin.
I say that is we had a connection we didn't know about till recently.
What's
at
that?
the Northwest Chapel Bible,
That's right.
where my wife got
That's
a chance
right.
to engage with your kids. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
that was special to meet somebody that, as I'm out and about, my wife is really quiet.
Yeah.
And so she doesn't get a chance to get any recognition. And
They loved her.
And it's nice to see people that have had her really loved her.
Well, it was great for us to have the school literally in our backyard, so I can see it from my back deck.
No way.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So really all the way through the kindergarten program that they had.
Yeah.
My wife and the kids would just walk through the yard and right over to school, and some just phenomenal teachers there, people that really cared about the kids. So yeah, I was glad that they closed that thing down. But I think its last year was my youngest son's last year, so we got to see it all the way through.
Oh,
that was really
great,
nice.
buddy.
Yeah,
That's
for
great.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 boys though. Great kids. They're going to be big boys. My wife's tall, I'm tall, so they're both, 2 of the tallest in their class. But
Are they?
Yeah, getting them into the indoor tall guy sports,
Yeah.
basketball, volleyball, same deal. But they're both musicians. My son loves drums, loves piano. He's been drumming since he was 5. He's 11 now, so he's getting pretty good at it.
Good.
So we picked the most annoying instrument to let him try, and that's the one that he loves. So yeah.
That's great.
We're dealing with that.
Yeah. What drove you into your degree at Ohio State?
Well, yeah, that's a funny story. So when my dad was a pharmacist, and I
Oh.
always grew up loving science, and I thought I wanted to either follow in his footsteps or do chemistry or biochem or something like that. And when I got to school, all the labs are on Fridays, and our season, we didn't fly around on jets. We took buses all around the Midwest. So we'd leave a lot of times Thursday night, early Friday morning. We wouldn't get home until 2, 3 in the morning on
Yes.
Sundays. And so I was missing labs freshman year, just couldn't make them up. And bunch of my teammates were in business, and they're like, man, just do business. It's way easier. The schedule's way easier. So that's why I flipped into business. I know God had a plan.
He did.
Because
Yeah.
now looking at my life, the things I've been exposed to and the things I do, I don't think I would like the realm of what you guys did or what
Yeah.
you did, medicine, like that type of thing. It wouldn't be for me.
Right.
So that pivot was, I started off doing something that I wanted to follow in my dad's footsteps, but this is much better suited for my personality. So yeah, majored in marketing and finance, got my MBA from Capital, so undergrad from OSU, MBA from Capital, and the mortgage industry just really took off for me. I got good at it fast because I was good at sales, but then really I understood people and how to position things the right way and grow and scale. So I only spent maybe the first 2-3 years like purely in sales, and then since then it was managing districts and regions for Wells Fargo, and then starting mortgage divisions for small banks, which kind of led us to 2014, where my boss at the bank that we were at launched his own mortgage company with several investors called Homeside Financial. It was a local company, and there were 7 of us that started that company. It became Lower.com. If you fast forward just a few years later, in 2018, and then if you fast forward into 2021, mortgage had taken off. Lower.com becomes Lower.com Field, naming the Crew Stadium. We got a very large Series A investment. It was the largest in Ohio history from a venture capital firm out of California. So things were up and to the right.
Yes.
I mean, at that point, Lower was 2,000-3,000 employees, and I was lucky enough to be able to be our president. And,
Praise God.
yeah, get a lot of exposure
That's
and
great.
learn a lot of cool
Well,
things.
I know this. Sam Kuhn gave you so much praise when we interviewed Sam. I think, isn't that when you took Sam's prime movers?
Yeah.
That drove you? Tell us about that, please.
So I can give you a short backstory to it. So throughout 21 and 22, when kind of the mortgage industry was at its peak, anybody that was my friend or a family member would probably have looked at my situation and thought, man, it's going great because companies thriving, business is booming, the org chart's expanding, money's sloshing around, like it was almost like it was growing on trees. You couldn't lose. I mean, it was like a marketer's dream. No matter what channel you picked, it was going to work. Rates were so low, everybody wanted a mortgage. I was miserable personally, and so were a lot of people internally. So I got to see a lesson firsthand that money does not solve problems, and it doesn't immediately make everything better. And a lot of the things that you're running hard at, when you achieve them, they seem very empty and hollow. And that's a common story. I know it.
Common.
But everybody has to, I feel like, experience it for themselves. I'm lucky enough that I get to experience it in my 30s. So I didn't spend the next couple decades still chasing that.
Yes, you are.
So I experienced that high. It wasn't much of a high. So that was what kind of kicked off my search for, like, what the heck am I really doing? And I was really happy that it happened then. I'm still kind of going through it, even though a lot of it is taking shape and we're on the road. But when you're following the promptings of the Holy Spirit, he's pretty unpredictable. So I can't really tell exactly where this is going to go from here. Pretty excited about it, though. So yeah, those years was what really kind of launched me into what's happening now.
Okay.
Prime movers happened during that time frame. Tithe Lending had been launched and was really that's our for-profit mortgage company. And my co-founder, Brian, was our COO at Lower. And he and I had always connected and been kind of the yin-yang of our business. Fellow believer, we go to the same church. So when I had put this proposal to him, like, hey, we're going to start a business, and the name of it's going to be Tithe, And that's what we're going to do. Is the first 10% of the revenue we're going to give to charities, which has been about 2/3 of the profits. I thought he would tell me I was crazy, but instead he told me he wanted in. So that was a surprise.
Yeah.
Because mortgage companies don't operate on 10+% profit margins. It's usually a pretty thin profit margin. So we were really going to take a bet that God was leading us somewhere, and if he wanted us to do it, that he was going to provide a way. And so far, so good. He has. So what came out of Prime Movers was Tithe Foundation, the ministry piece.
Oh.
So we knew we had the company. We were going to give that to the Lord. The mission statement is to honor God with the work and to love our neighbor with the proceeds. So our focus is up, honoring him first and all the things that we do, and then outward to our neighbors in need, so we can share his love around town. The foundation is, Tithe Foundation is what was born out of Prime Movers.
Okay.
So what's happened is there's over 40 businesses who have signed a tithing pledge.
That's exciting.
Isn't that crazy?
Oh, man.
Yeah, they basically said, hey, at least 10% of our profits are going to go to the kingdom, and we're dedicating our business to the Lord. So, and that's a mixture of large businesses, owners, leaders, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, you name it. But that's something I could not have seen coming. That wasn't part of the plan. That's kind of I know God's in it, is because he surprised us with that. But in Prime Movers, I started to realize what really lights me up, and I know it lights you up, is helping other people see how their work can connect to eternity. It's not just this temporary thing we're doing. How do we connect it to eternity?
Yes, sir.
And one by one, God's brought people into our life that have been curious about this, or maybe were feeling like I felt, or maybe have gone through Prime Movers and they're searching for a way that they can put their holy ambition to work. You name it.
Mm-hmm.
But there's nothing better than connecting those dots for people and showing them that their work can have real meaning and purpose, and they can store their treasure in heaven. There's real ways to do that, and then have them fully integrate their faith into everything that they're doing.
Did the class at Prime Movers, did the men in the class help you form this idea of the foundation?
Some. My group was really good. We actually had a couple of nonprofit guys in my group. So that was interesting. I think that was part of it, because I got to hear from their perspectives, like some of the things, some of their needs, some of the issues that they run up against with, inflation's crushing them too. Their costs go up just like everybody else costs go up. But when they go up, their donor base a lot of times is feeling the heat. And some of these ministries aren't, super well funded from, large groups. A lot of them are, individual donors where they're getting large percentage of their funding. So when they feel the squeeze and donations go down, now it's like, we're in danger of some of these critical things that we do going away.
The statistics show that the number of Christian donors is becoming lower.
Yeah.
But those that give are giving more to pick up that. And the foundation that you're doing, things like that, it's
filling the gaps.
It's filling the gaps, and it's the next generations give differently. They want to participate differently.
Yeah.
So, we need time to revamp and recoup. And this is an awesome model that I hadn't seen before, getting groups of businesses together. It's the pillars, the education, the business, and the churches, parachurches, coming together.
Yeah.
And this is you're that missing piece.
Well, I think what's been cool is another thing that came out of it. So, getting to see the nonprofit side and their needs, and hearing the hearts from these guys and just what they're up against. That was part of the unlock. It's like, man, we need help. They're the ones that they're hitting the pavement. They're where the rubber meets the road. They're out there every single day being the hands and feet of Jesus. In some of the roughest parts of town, some of the worst situations, the stuff that most people don't want to touch or think about, they're out there doing it. They need the fuel.
Right.
Like if Jesus is at the center and we're the spokes, like they're out there on the rim. Like, they're really living it. So I got to see that part. But I also got to hear from some of the business guys being like, well, what do we do? I'm just one small little business. My budget's $10,000 a year for charitable. I can't go solve any of these needs individually. I can't go knock down any of these opportunities individually. And then they're also like, I can't connect my employees' hearts to a mission of doing that either, because we have so little to give. So what are they doing? They're dumping it over the wall to some random charity. They don't know what it's used for.
Right.
They don't really talk about it. So one of the cool things that we've done almost unintentionally at Tithe Foundation is, I know there's giving circles around town. There's a lot of times to get into one of those, you got to be pretty wealthy. They're not really advertised. You don't know if they exist unless you're invited.
Right.
And those are great. They give a ton of money away, and those are great guys with great hearts. But for like the smaller business owner, like how do I fit in and how do I connect my work to something greater when I can't solve a problem on my own?
And I think one of the things that you do, the research part of it.
Yeah.
Because as a business owner, you want the ROI.
Correct.
Now you want the ROI.
Yep.
And you don't have the time necessarily to research and look at all these ministries because people want to know. There's a lot of Don Kings out there.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of fighters.
Yeah.
And the fighters should be getting the funding, not just Don Kings.
Totally.
So having you buffer, educate, bring them in. Tell us a little bit more about that. How
that works?
Fix it. Yeah.
Yeah. So one of our values at this foundation is measuring impact, and we have to do that. So obviously we identify opportunities, but we want to measure impact and continue to report back on what these funds are doing. So we get anywhere from 15 to 20 grant applications through our website every quarter, and we narrow it down. Right now, we narrow it down to the top 3. In the future, if we have more businesses and we have more funds available, that number could expand. But right now, it's the top 3 every quarter. And we look for, are they measurable? Are they specific? Is it an opportunity that like we can go and actually see? So Matt is my co-founder at the Tithe Foundation. He does all the actual vetting. That's what he does professionally for BlackRock now, is he's private equity. He looks for investment opportunities. He's the vetting guy. He puts it all together. So now he does that for Tithe Foundation. So we'll go take field trips and go on site. We'll meet the directors. We'll understand the opportunities. For those that we already know, we don't have to vet them on a trust level.
I got you.
It's just the specific opportunity and where that money's going. So we ask for that so that when we display, we do it via video at our grant nights. We let the directors come talk, directly to our team, but video just to keep it on a time basis, so that way they're not up there talking for a half an hour.
Yes.
We let our business partners vote on those opportunities, and then we bring them back in and we can report specifically on, all right, this is what the money was supposed to go towards. This is what it did go towards, and then here's some of the output. We can tell the impact stories and give them the data.
Yes.
Because you got to have that.
Yep.
People in business want to see the impact.
Yeah, absolutely. And the young folks absolutely are demanding it.
Yeah.
If they're going to put their money in, they'll give their time. They want to connect. They've got the phones. They got the information, so they can research and do a lot of their homework.
It's more than a tax write-off for them.
Right.
Yeah, they actually want to connect to the people who it's serving.
They want an impact.
Yeah,
They
correct.
And it's amazing how many missionaries get sent money and nobody holds them accountable, Mark. I know of missionaries been there 15, 20 years. And when Wanda and I would visit them, I would say, okay, what are your goals? Well, we want to lead people to Christ. How many? Well, whoever God brings you. I said, time out. That's a wish list.
Yeah.
You need to be held accountable. I said, tell me this. And this happened to be in France, Mark, and this individual guy who's very energetic. He loves Jesus, but he's over in a foreign country. I said, well, if you have to talk to 10 people, how many of them would let you share Christ? He said, well, probably about 1 out of 10. I said, so if you get 10 of those people and you share Christ with them, what's your estimate? Well, about 1 out of 10. I said, now, do you understand what you've told me? That's 1,000 people. You've got to meet 3 people a day to get 10 members. Well, he said, I can't do that. I said, what? Well, of course you can. Come with me. And so we go to the marketplace. But what you're doing, that the people that are doing ministry, you're helping hold them accountable.
Yeah.
Mark, that's wonderful. Most people in ministry don't like to ask for help. Yeah. I've never asked for help until just recently, because God has had other people in my life that liked it, and they contributed, and away we go.
Yeah.
But most people that are doing the ministry you're talking about, being on the rim, they have a hard time asking for money.
Yeah.
Now they can apply for a grant, and maybe they'll be one of the 3.
I have noticed that I don't know why that is. I haven't figured out necessarily, I haven't figured out the reason yet, but I have noticed that like their specialty is not fundraising.
Well, it's the mission funding model, or it's the ministry funded model. Like Youth for Christ has the mission funding.
Yeah.
They have a development team. They have the resources to go out and do the relational things.
Yeah.
the people that are doing the work are really good at the work, and we certainly don't want to take away from what good work they do. But like for FCA, they're ministry funded. They have to get their own funds. So
Each individual, yeah.
they have to go out and raise their own funds. They got to do what they do. And I find that often the persons that really good at fundraising is weak in delivery.
In the ministry part.
Yeah.
In the ministry part, guys are great.
Yeah.
And they just can't ask. They just
Right.
they're not built that way. So it's a challenge, but you know, they both work
Yeah.
because they're both doing really well. It's just when you get into ministry and you want to serve, that's an important thing to find out.
Man, that is an interesting thing. Because if your heart's for like whatever it is, the need itself, a lot of times that kind of a person is not just a natural sales.
They're not.
That's not what it is. Yeah.
Right.
That's why I would say, with the foundation, are you looking at the mission funding because you can see the bigger picture,
Yeah.
or the ministry? It's a person,
Yeah.
and so I don't know how you really.
What's
look at the
interesting
two.
is we've done a little bit of both. I mean, a couple stories. There's like one for Grace Haven, for example,
Yes.
earlier this year,
Mhm.
which going on a tour there and hearing the stories, I almost don't even want to repeat them because I'll probably start
Yeah.
crying. It's
Right.
it's brutal. But one of the things that happened post-COVID was they were learning online. So you've got girls who have got serious trust issues and have
Right.
been through a ton of trauma, and you're trying to connect with somebody that you're trying to learn from and learn how to trust through a computer screen.
Yeah.
It was just a funding thing.
Yeah.
So one of the things that we were able to do is fund a salary to bring in an in-person teacher for those girls,
Wonderful.
which changes a ton. So yes, it's for that person. I mean, the money went to have a human being, in place, but really it's for the mission of serving those girls at Grace Haven. So it kind of was like a dual purpose thing. Another example of that was My Village Ministries. What they're doing between working with the churches in the state for the foster youth situation that's going on. When the inroads that they've made in Franklin County have been crazy, and the way that they're impacting families' lives. I mean, there's story after story after story.
I bet there are.
The worst area in our state was Toledo. Their numbers just kept getting worse and worse and worse, and they needed to go deploy their ministry in that market, but they need an area leader. I mean, you need somebody to go galvanize churches and get people to sign up and take them through the vetting process and have host families and then go work with the state and the foster care system in that area. They didn't have that person. So we were able to fund that salary and say, okay, you've got the model and you've got the methods down and their leadership's right and the numbers are there. We just need to go fuel a person to go get it started in another horrible spot in our state. So we were able to go fuel that salary. So some of them are kind of a dual purpose with that we fund.
Yeah.
But it's specific, it's targetable, and then we can measure the impact and the results.
Yeah.
So we just had them back in actually this past October to tell the story of what's happened in the past
Right.
year in Toledo since
Right.
that's been deployed. And the numbers are fantastic.
Well, what you're doing, you're holding people accountable.
Mhm.
I think we all want to give to God's work, but sometimes when you write a check that goes, and all of a sudden, so what are they doing? Are they leading people to Christ?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I think they are. Oh, no. We need to. So what you're doing, that's very exciting, Mark.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit more about how you can join.
Yeah.
Who's the candidate? What size business, or are sole proprietors? Who's a candidate?
Yeah, no, that's good. We'll take, if you want to be a part of it, we'll take you. So most of our members are probably, I would say 50% entrepreneurs. So people who own a small business of some kind, maybe they have a few employees, some solopreneurs where it's like, hey, I'm a one-man marketing band. I'm a business consultant of some kind, something like that, which we like that. And I think that that'll probably continue to be like the leading candidate that joins Tithe Foundation because they're not some giant company that they're trying to speak for. It's like they can speak for themselves and they're happy to do it. We do have several large companies, which the leadership and the owners are Christian, and they're totally fine putting their stamp and putting their logo on something like Tithe Foundation because they're not shy about it. God's either in their mission statement or in their value statements. The employees know who they are when they sign up to work there.
Yeah.
And then we also have some leaders and individuals who don't own companies but want to be a part of what we do. So they sign up as individual members. So they can't pledge a tithe from their entire company, but they pledge like, I'm tithing personally. And then I understand that goes to my church, but I understand this concept. I'm participating in it. I want to dedicate my individual work to God. And then here's my pledge to Tithe Foundation. And they let us know if they're going to do that annually, quarterly, or monthly. And then they can participate in the voting process as well.
Oh.
So we don't want to turn anybody away.
Yeah, back years ago, I had the 100 Men That Care, and it was pretty much once a year.
Yeah. Everybody
come together, make their donation, and decide where it would go.
Yeah.
So it warms my heart that somebody is actually doing it, because that concept and idea was wonderful. In fact, it was started by 100 women in Houston.
Oh, really?
It was 100 women chairs, and I thought they said 100 women cares.
Well, you made it better. I think the 100 Men That Care sounds better.
And so I took
right.
off with that, and we did it for a couple of years, and then I got into what I'm doing with the legacy coaching. So
Yeah. Well, the coolest thing I think that we've got going with the voting process is everybody's vote counts the same. Nobody knows who the biggest contributor is or who the smallest contributor is. We thought about initially doing it on a percentage basis. Like, hey, your vote's weighted based off of your percentage of contribution. But then we were like, all right, well, what did Jesus say about the old lady with the 2 mites?
Right.
You know, she gave more than the rest. She gave everything that she had. I know every one of our partners right now personally. We get to know them. I mean, when they want to become a member of the foundation, I mean, I take them out. We go to lunch. I learn their story about their business. It's really some phenomenal stories of people that have joined up. But for some of the smaller businesses, I know it's taken everything that they've got to donate what they're doing, because we're in a pretty difficult economy, depending on what industry and lane you're in. It's not smooth sailing right now.
You're right.
So they're giving sacrificially. And I know some of our larger checks, which I'm very, very grateful to have them, I know it's easier for some of those to be written than some of those smaller checks are being written. So I'm like, hey, I don't think God cares. He cares about the heart that's in it and the business is being dead. So your vote counts the same. So
That's a great idea.
Nobody knows in that I think people probably assume.
Did you think of that?
Well, me and Matt, we debated it. So it was it wasn't a point of contention. We were both on the same page, but I think initially we were planning on going with the weighted average. But then when we prayed about it and more we got together and read the Bible and thought back about what Jesus said about giving in multiple different ways, we were like, no, I think we got to do equal weighted vote.
Because God can work through the guy that gives $50 if that's against the guy that gives you $50,000.
Yeah.
They're both votes in God's eyes.
Correct.
I really like you doing that. That's pretty special.
It is.
So where does it go from here?
The foundation? Well, right now we're Columbus only. If you asked me, God, what would you do hey, can we do this? I want to do what he wants to do, because I'm not very good at picking my own path. I've told him a bunch of times now, like, let's just do what you want to do, because I don't even know anymore where you'll take it, and wherever he's taking things is so much cooler than whatever I could plan. So if I had it my way, though, I would get this thing up to several hundred businesses in Columbus, because if you get 200-300 businesses,
absolutely,
average businesses, $5,000 a year, it doesn't have to be big contributions. You're talking you're several $1 million. You can knock down a lot of need.
Amen.
When you're doing it like we're doing it, because we're not doing it just like one big overarching thing. We're doing kind of like guerrilla style. Like, all right, that's an opportunity we want to fund. That's a thing that can't go away, and it's about ready to go away, because that thing needs to be a gap fill. Let's go fill that gap. So like the way that we do it, we can shore up a lot of things in our little town. And I think that if more businesses tithed, I mean, I've been talking about this a lot lately about tithing. It's somehow this word's attached to me, but if more businesses would just do it God's way, earth would look a lot more like heaven. The amount of money that would be deployed into the kingdom, the amount of love and light of Jesus that would just flow through our cities and our streets, I mean, it would just be crazy.
Yes.
So there's hearts that are out there that are willing. We just need the fuel, because things take fuel. Yeah. So I would love to get this up to a couple hundred businesses in Columbus.
So
and
I'm
have
hearing
it thrive
this in Minnesota, and I love the story, and I want to know more.
We start a chapter there, and what it would take is I'm willing to provide the coaching, the resources, the playbook, the whole deal for free. I mean, we're not trying to make Tithe Foundation makes no money. We have no overhead. It's all volunteer, 100% volunteer. All of our events are covered by sponsors, and 100% of all the work that gets done is on a volunteer basis. So every single dollar that gets donated goes to the charities. There's no overhead. So I'd be willing to hand over the playbook I just need somebody who wants to own it for their market, who's
Yes.
well connected, who can go tell this story to other business leaders and draw them in. We can do this in every market in the country, as far as I'm concerned.
Mm-hmm.
And I would love to dedicate my time and effort to doing that.
So-
But I do think that there's way more room to grow in Columbus.
I bet.
Yeah, we really have only been at it for, our first grant night was a year and a half ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Now, do you and Matt go through the different applications,
Mhm.
or does your board?
No, yeah, Matt specifically, that's his task.
Oh,
I would say half the applications get thrown out immediately because we only are going to go through. There's a lot of great causes out there that are secular,
right.
but if it's purely secular, like we want to get to the spiritual
I
good too.
understand.
Yeah, so a lot of it happens through physical need, but the goal is to bring people to Christ. So
Yes.
we're looking for the Christian focused nonprofit.
Yes.
So for the secular ones, we turn them around easy. You know, we don't say, "Hey, you're
Yeah.
not Christian, so get out of here." You know, we tell them, "Hey, it's great what you're doing. You know, we love your heart for this, but this is where our focus is at."
Right.
Then we've got 4 lanes. So it's local church, homelessness, Christian education, and youth and family.
Hmm.
So if it's a Christian organization that's doing global wells in Africa, there's those that have applied with us, and they're awesome.
Yeah.
But we're not doing global. We want this to stay local. There's plenty of opportunity local, so you just
There
kind of got to
is.
narrow in, like, what's our focus?
So if somebody's been awarded,
Mm-hmm.
how often can they reapply?
That's good. As often as they want, but we probably wouldn't have them back-to-back grant nights because we want some time between their grant to season
Yes.
so that we can tell that impact story and show that, like, hey, what they got the money for, they used it for. We've had 3 repeats so far, which have been fantastic. So I'll give you one quick story about a repeat. The Bridge Ministries downtown. So we granted to them, I can't remember which grant night it was in 2024. It was either the summer or the Q4 one. But it was to start their Empower Employment program. So they were working with the Community Shelter Board and state job stuff. I can't remember exactly what board it was. But it was to take guys through drug addiction rehab, and then after that, work on getting them an actual resume built up where they have a job, where they can have verified employment, which gives them verified housing. It went so well with that first one where they had 9 guys under the program. I think 8 of them got baptized. 6 of them are in long-term employment now. Like, it's worked. It's working.
That's
So the state opened up the other 19 facilities that they weren't working with, said, "Hey, you can come and be in all of them now."
oh my.
So they were just back up again with us so that we can give them a grant to go fund
Yeah.
that forward and say, okay, we funded the initial one, the pilot, that you convinced the state to work with. I mean, it's a Christian outfit, but it's working so well.
Right.
Yeah, the love of Jesus
So
does
did,
so well.
did you work with the Refuge?
Not yet.
Okay, buddy.
Yep, not yet.
I've been blessed to be, I guess, I don't know, Tom introduced me to it, but
Yeah.
12, 13 years. And every Tuesday I get the opportunity to take men of addiction to dinner. Usually there's 3 or 4 guys, and I tell them, you order what you want. But I would say, Mark, 40% of the times we have a dinner, they pray to accept Christ. So it's such a great ministry because I'm not on the staff. I do that, and then we have a Bible study every Tuesday night.
That's amazing.
It is.
So
Yeah,
when I
and-
met Duke in church, turned around, I know who Duke was, but Duke didn't know who I was. And he says, "Tom, what do you do?" Oh, I said, that's a good question. And I proceeded to tell him about the Refuge. There's a place that you can actually watch Jesus in action. And he was just getting ready to retire.
Yeah.
And he looked at me and said, "I don't know what you just said, but I see it in your eyes. I got to go." And he went, and he never left. Little he didn't know was I had told Tom Thompson, what do I need to do to leave? Because there's just too many things that have happened that just break your heart,
Yeah.
that you get so involved that you need some time out.
Yeah.
And he said, "Well, you go out and find somebody to replace you, and you can go." So I found Duke, and I said,
I think I got it.
and I put him up to Tom. I
Yeah.
said, "Hey," he said, "He's worth 2 of you." See
Well,
ya.
if you can believe this, Mark, Tom went with me to see the first program. I came home and I told Wanda, my wife, I said, "Honey, that's Christianity in action." Mark, I went back 17 straight weeks, took somebody with me to let them see it. And then, of course, some of them gave funds. Others got involved in coaching or helping us teach. So ministries that really share Jesus, man, they need to be at the forefront. Of
and that was at a pivotal time that he came in, because we never knew 90 days out if we'd be in business. And
It's kind of funny how that happens a lot, doesn't it? Where Jesus will just provide exactly what you need, right when you need it. And there's been, I mean, the way that we got connected to the bridge was I was at a Cohatch coming out of a meeting from one of the meeting rooms, and I bump into B.B. Higgins, and I had known B.B. from when he was at the Dream Center from volunteering down there. And I had heard that he had started the bridge, but I hadn't really got to know, like, hey, are they doing the same thing as Dream Center's doing? Dream Center's another partner doing great stuff with the homeless. And then Brian Cochran is his the director. He rounds the corner, and we just get to talking. And I was just like, hey, do you guys need money for anything right now? And they were like, you know what? We really do for this. And I was like, what about volunteers? And they were like super short on volunteers for all of their stuff. And one of the things that we do is we bring volunteers into the places that we fuel, because we know that the check that you write isn't going to change your heart, but like actually going and like serving somebody and seeing where that check is going, that's what changes your heart.
absolutely.
So now we provide volunteers down there, the money, and like what the bridges have been able to do with these 2 grants has been incredible for these guys. I mean, it's literally transforming these people's lives. But I probably they wouldn't have known about us. They wouldn't have known to apply. But I literally bumped into them running
It's
out
a
of the door.
God thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, we're going to have Todd Mara on, who's the superintendent at Tree of Life Schools. And he's involved with the Rock City Church as a pastor. And
Todd he baptized me in the Jordan River
Did he?
2 years ago. Yeah.
Well, I knew him.
great.
I got that picture right in my office. Yeah, it's like
Praise God.
I give Todd credit for my ex-brother-in-law was his cousin, and so I'm in my 20s, and I meet them. He's 10 years younger than I am, and we're playing basketball Thanksgiving every Thanksgiving. Todd's a beast. He wasn't big then.
He's a
he
beast
was like
now.
6'1", 6'2", 190. Could jump, played basketball, and they'd all gang up on him.
Did he? What is he now? He's
About
250.
250.
All muscle. He's like a
Yeah, I would
like a
laugh
bull.
when I'd see him and go, Todd, can you still shoot?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he lives
That's
pretty hard.
great.
So I gave him credit for the last basketball game. I had 7 3-pointers because everybody claps on him. He'd throw it out to me. And I was hot that night.
You guys still play?
No.
How long ago was this?
I mean, I'm 68. And that was when I was 28. That's 40 years ago.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Well, you're 68, man.
Yeah.
Well, he's young compared to you.
Yes. Well, 20 years.
Yeah.
20 years. Yeah.
That's so
It's
crazy.
Yeah. And so when I get that age, it gives me hope. This is what it looks like.
yeah.
Because I always look 20 years ahead when I saw people, and I had relationships mostly with people. That now I'm looking back the other way to say, hey, they fed me. Now I need to feed others.
Yeah.
And share. And that's why I want to continue this. May I share with all Duke is invested in his life. This is awesome.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Well, I was so honored that Tom made a trip over and said, okay, when you die, who's taking over? I said, nah, it's okay. God doesn't. He'll do fine. He said, no. You know how many books you give away? Do you know that? And I said, well, yeah. Well, who's going to do that? He said, I want to do it. So we sat down and had a discussion. I mean, almost every day I go to the post office to give away books. And so
Yeah.
was-
This book, every chapter is a gold nugget.
I agree.
And everything that he has dropped on me the last 13, 14 years is in this book. And in chapter 11, I got included to what I'm doing as to what my future looks like. But what Duke does, I'm applying as what I do with other people. So this is a natural for me because I'm already doing it.
Yeah.
And this helps me having to have a conversation with people and just keep on. And I say, hey, read the book and let's talk. 'Cause
Yeah.
that book is just spells all the things out that I want to tell people that I've learned.
It's really, really good. And I mean, I love the part about not retiring on a beach and kicking it up and playing golf and then playing cards and then eating out to dinner. And then what do? You get old and you distance yourself from your family and, in your
Yes.
work and like anything that God gifted you with, like you're just kind of wasting your gifts away.
Well, it took me 4 years to write it, only because the research I did was mainly people that I knew in the business world. But
Yeah.
the thing that set it off, Mark, probably 2.5 years ago, a dentist who had retired and spent, I think, 15 years in Florida, said, "Duke, can we have lunch?" And I said, "Sure." And I sat there. And he said, "I can't believe it. I got it this wrong." I said, "Pardon me?" And all of a sudden, the tears start coming down. He said, "You know, I made good money in dentistry. I bought a home in Florida. My wife and I went there. We went out to eat a lot. I played golf. We went to a good Baptist church. All of a sudden, my wife's got health issues." And he told me, Mark, he said, "You know, you got to come back to your support base, which are your children."
Yeah.
And he said, "We've been back. I just realized I've never seen my grandson play basketball, and he's going to go on a basketball scholarship. My grandson is engaged, and another grandson is engaged. I never met his fiance. We're going to the wedding. Duke, how could I get it so wrong?" So when he did that, I wish my mentor, Zig Ziglar, had been here to kind of guide me, but many men do, of which one was Sam. And so I'm so pleased that God at least got this there, and I think he's going to use it. And
Man, I don't know. Just there's so many ideas hitting my head, like listening to you guys talk. But I mean, just thinking through Tithe Foundation, I would love to have older guys who are trying to finish well join the foundation, but don't join by themselves. Like bring a grandson that's in their
Amen.
20s, bring somebody that's at your office that you have invested in that is maybe 30, and say, "Hey, we're going to become members of Tithe Foundation.
Yeah.
I'm going to put front the money, but you and I are doing it together." And get them
that's a
involved
great
earlier.
idea.
Start
Yeah.
showing them like what does it really look like to
Yeah.
live and like live to the full.
Well, we're going to also do LifeWise Academy, and Derek, who is a good friend of mine, I know Joel started it.
Yeah.
But we talked about maybe have you been in their new facility, LifeWise?
I actually just talked to Joel today. I have been, and Joel's kids and my kids are part of the same community. We homeschool.
Oh, okay.
And we're going to do Tithe Night at LifeWise coming up
Okay.
here in February for all of our business partners to do
Praise
a
God.
tour and do kind of the whole, I was going to say dog and pony show, but it's more than that,
Right.
about just where it's been, what's the opportunity now. I mean, obviously it's accelerating much faster than they initially thought.
Much faster.
And what the opportunity really looks like across America right now. Just the more people that can hear that story here locally, because we're blessed to be in the headquarters.
Absolutely.
Because the Holy Spirit will move. You know, people want
Yes.
to move that, whether it's in the local chapter
Right.
or whether that's doing something,
Right.
broader.
Well, I'd talked to Derek over lunch, and we had talked about maybe doing seminars at the academy and helping men finish better.
Yeah.
And like you said, maybe you can bring a father and a son, or a grandfather and so there's a lot of things. I kind of wish I wasn't this old,
Yeah.
but I also want to go home with my bride.
Yeah, but there's what you're speaking of.
Yeah.
You don't have to reinvent the wheel. There's this organization called All Pro Dad.
Okay.
Tony Dungy started it.
Yeah.
And they got some alumni here in Columbus that are part of that. Jeff Hardings is one. And that is where you bring your son, and then you do a Bible study together with them, and then you bring in a grandson or somebody that doesn't have a dad.
Yeah.
And
That's good.
That's awesome. They don't have one here, but I researched it to look at that as to just what you're saying, to connect with your kids in such a way, because they want to do something other than just hang out.
Yeah. And
You
for
know,
the
if
guys
they
that
can do
don't
something.
have kids, I mean,
Right.
I just know from being in business, there's plenty of guys walking around those halls that either don't have good relationships with their dad,
Right.
or they, maybe they do, but they look up to a business mentor, and they
Yes.
care about that kind of advice and leadership. I mean,
Well, the summit,
Bring 'em.
you're probably familiar
Yeah.
with Jeff Haskett.
Yeah.
And
I don't know Jeff. I know the Wathans guy.
the Wathans.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Jeff's really designed the part of it to really have the mentors and the coaching and bringing the kids along. And I think Steve is funding a large part of that with his facility, and it's just a great environment.
Yeah.
But he wants to take with the older guys how they could take their kids and go do safaris and things. But that's beyond my scope of ability to go out and do things like that at this point in my life. But there are those that can. So there's things popping up, ideas as we talk. People are taking ideas.
100%.
And that's what I love about it. That's why I keep swimming in this lane, because it's just fun to know and connect people.
It's cool to see people take their idea and just actually go put something behind it, because you never know where God's going to take it. I mean, the stuff that takes off are the people who are just like, you know what, I care enough about it to fund it myself, to put my own energy behind it, and to just get the ball rolling. And then see where God wants to take the momentum. But the hardest part is getting something started.
It is.
Just start taking the first step on some of the ideas and see what He wants to do.
Yeah, that's a great attitude. Well, for our listening and viewing audience, what would you suggest they could do to become involved in your ministry?
Tithe Foundation, it's pretty simple. So our website is www.tithe.foundation. So there's no .com, just tithe.foundation. If you want to volunteer with us, there's a link to kind of join the Tithe Army and be alerted when there's volunteer opportunities. If you want to become a business partner, there's a business partner link. So you fill that out. It's real simple. And we reach out to you. We'll have a conversation. If it sounds like it's serious, we'll have coffee and or lunch. Go down that road. We can give you all the details on what it looks like and what the tithing pledge, what all it entails. And if you're a nonprofit, there's a Be a Nonprofit partner with online access to our grant form. So you can fill that out. And if you want to just email us in general, if you have a question about something, it's just info@tithe.foundation.
Okay.
Somebody will get back to you.
Man, that's exciting. Well, I hope, Central Ohio, you have listened to a man who's put his heart in the business that in the financial world, and he's turned that into an instrument that God is using. So make sure you've got the information in front of you. If you're a business owner or a gentleman that wants to get involved, this is a great ministry to get involved. So, Mark, thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
And I am going to go ahead and close this in prayer because you did it last time, right? Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for Mark and his ministry and the desire you've put on his heart to serve so many people. Lord, you know there's ministries out there that will not only benefit, but you're going to make them grow. So thanks for his heart. Thanks for his wife and children that you're enabling him to not only have great relationships with, but for them to see a dad and a husband that's really given back to Jesus. So thanks again, Lord, for who you are and what you do in our lives. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Go do it.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the May I Share podcast. If today's conversation stirred something in you, don't let it stop here. Check the show notes to learn more about our guest and how you can get involved. If this podcast has been a blessing to you, consider sharing it with someone who needs to hear it. And be sure to subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. Until next time, remember, you are blessed to be a blessing.